Hey YouTube. So been watching. You know that my Marshall amp, the bass amp there, the B150, died at the last gig. Just it started farting and buzzing and then cutting in and out, and then by the end of the gig, I don't think it was working at all. And luckily, I was running a DI from my Super effects pedal board in a jigsaw case. So there was a DI running from that anyway, so I could hear myself, thankfully. So basically, the amp's gone. I thought it was the speaker, but it's the amp. This amp here, which you can't see because it's too dark, is a Marshall 200 watt integrated bass system, which I bought, I think, in the 90s, basically, from the guy. I think his name was Craig, who was the sound guy at the Cavern, or the which changed its name to the Bubble Lounge in Strathclyde University Student Union on level 7 or something like that. We used to go in there and play it. In a couple of bands I was in, and there was an open mic night where it was like you could take basses and there was drums and stuff, like a not you know like an open jam. We used to go to that. Me and my pal G used to go every Thursday night, and it was, you could get away with almost being, was it the whole night for a tenner? Was possible, because you would leave, mine was just up in Lindsay, so we would walk to get the train in, and sometimes if you didn't get asked for a ticket on the train on the way in, it was free. And then sometimes you were less likely to get asked for a ticket on the way home as well. So occasionally that would be part of this, and it was £1 a pint, and you could get a hot dog on the way out for £1. So me and G would have a bottle of Bucky each. That'd be a fiver, maybe. So a bottle of Bucky each on the train on the way in, do the jam thing, or maybe just go and see bands. Thursday night might have just been to go and see bands. Yeah. Anyway, that sound guy said, I've got a bass amp, it needs a fuse soldered into it because I stole it for something else, like the fuse holder on the back. And we agreed on 60 quid, and I was like, right, I've got it now, I'll take it, I'll bring your money in next week. And he'd left. He no longer worked there. The next few times we were in the following week, and he wasn't there anymore. I think he went to the Lemon Tree. So that's where I got this amp. It did come in like like a head unit, like a wooden Tolex covered box type thing, but I had it to bits there. I've managed to get it working. You can see there only were 6 knobs on the old Marshall, so I've now got 6 gold ones. That's the EQ. At the start, there's a sensitivity, like an input gain, and then at the end there's another 4 knobs, which I will, assuming I'm getting to get away with this, I might invest in buying a full set of gold knobs for it. So it is noisy though, like that. I don't know whether that's coming through on the mic, but remember, this is a 200 watt studio amp, so if you're talking about you're playing along with drums, that all the amps make that noise. It's not really meant for the house. So it does mean I get to continue using my already mic thing made up, which you can't see because there's no light on it. Pulling a curtain in front of it's not going to help. Let's get the After the End band logo on it. Depending on how the light is in here, sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. So that is quite an annoying noise. I don't know. I assume it's just old amp stuff. It's actually got a sticker in the back that says "gun" on it, so I'm pretty sure that like a bit of masking tape with you used to have to do at gigs apparently in the 80s and stuff like that, so people knew whose amp it was. So it used to belong to the band Gun. Yeah. So plans for this just now, it's just sitting, the rack unit's just sitting on top of the old Marshall amp. The plan is, old Marshall amp comes out of that head unit. I don't know if you can see, but it's not quite rack mount size, but it's only the front baffle board that's too big. So the front baffle board comes up, but this is actually sitting in a shelf that's kind of designed for this amp. So basically what I have to do is take the baffle board off and cut just like 10 mil off the wooden baffle board, and then cut 10 mil off the top of that bit of the metal grill, and it will just slot in there, and it'll just be a combo, which is good. The favourite aspect of this is, as you can see, I don't know if you can really see there, this is wider than that. So I was sitting there going, I could, put blocks of wood in, paint it black, and then I can screw it in from the front, sort of thing, just, Then I started thinking, oh, hold on, if I put it to one side, what you're left with at the end is a square bit here. Takes a bottle of bucket, absolutely fantastic. So the plan is I'll put foam or something in that bit, black foam or something, so that I can have my wee combo amp, which is now 200 watt. Also, it's biampable, so I can run an output from that to run another amp with a crossover in it, based on thingy. So I think that doubles it to 400 watts. So it should be, if there's an amp there, I can use that and use that just for the bass and use the other one just for the treble kind of thing. Whether I'll ever do that, I don't know. But also that 200 watt thing, it's also much louder. I'm not sure that Marshall, I mean, I did pay 30 quid for it, the original, the combo. I'm not sure it ever really worked properly. I mean, I was sitting in here with the thing at half volume. You shouldn't really be able to have a 150 watt bass amp at half volume in a house. Do you know what I mean? Just now this is there's got a bass volume and a treble volume, but they're like totally both at one, and the gain's at like one half as well. So it doesn't mean I get stereo back, and I've got my drum machine back again. So this is my pal's bass, which I've just set up from Ivor's West Tone Concord bass. This is a great little bass. I really like it. It's got everything. So you can, basically, the nut had been damaged somehow, so the A string kept slipping out. So I'd heard old wives' tales about bicarbonate of soda and super glue. So basically what I did was I put bicarbonate of soda in the slot, put super glue on it, left it a day, and then filed it away. And it seems to have just made plastic the same as what the nut is. So it seems to have totally sorted it. That's great. I might need to put a new output jack on it. It's a little bit wobbly. I need to talk to Ivor about the knobs, actually. I put these ones, which I got in 10 on. I quite like them. They're on a couple of my basses. This just had, that's it, their Strat volume tone on it. And Strat's knobs are funny. Strat knobs on a Strat are totally perfect. Yes, put them on anything else, it looks cheap and like you've lost the knobs and you've put Strat knobs on. It's like another thing with the Strat is the output socket. I don't have a Strat line about. The jack socket with that sort of oval thing. That's a great design, but it doesn't look right on any other guitar apart from a Strat. I don't know how that works. It works really well on a Flying V when you've got it on the edge, but not on on the front the way it was designed. Yeah, so new bass amp will be on the run. Hopefully we'll be doing a lot more gigs this year, and it'd be nice if I could have a shit gig amp. Obviously I could take the big. I'll be using the big Marshall more often, but I like the idea in case we play that Wolstonbury Festival again when we're kind of playing outdoors, and it might get rained on kind of thing. Something like that. Or just like, if you're doing some sort of gig where it's a very fast load in, or it's tiny, you know what I mean? You don't need amps like that. It just gives you a speaker, just use it as a monitor, more like thing. It did really well when we played in Paisley, actually. I was very happy with its performance there, but we are Sabbath. tribute band, so we should be loud, pushing some air. There was thought of, I was thinking of trying to put 10s into that, to like put 2 10s instead of the 115, but the 15's in it, and I've already got it. If it didn't have a speaker in it, then maybe rather than buy a 15-inch speaker, I would buy 2 10s, but I didn't have to buy anything. Even the knobs, I managed to salvage 5 working knobs from the original amp, and then the 6 gold ones. And I did some clever fixing as well. It's like, I obviously contact cleaned all the knobs, but a lot of the splines were burst on the pots. You know, you get the 2 side bits on the pot where you fit the knob on. A couple of them, the bit had snapped off. So I was like, I don't really want to go looking in. It's like I have to desolder pots and then try and order funny sized pots. You know, they're not just normal sized pots. They're like, I don't know, they're not A250, A500. They're like thousands or tens or whatever. So what I did was I would look through my things which I should have thrown away pots box, which had lots of seized and broken and ones that had already be bit snapped off it, and just literally snapped a bit off to make, the 2 sides for the wee spline bit, and then put a bit of cardboard, super glued a bit of cardboard between it, stuck the 2 of them together to make it into the right shape. And these knobs have the wee grub screw on them, so jobs are good and sorted. I don't like this chicken head knob being black. I need to paint that a different colour. But if I can get used to the noise it makes, I'm also, this might be completely naive and stupid, but thinking it doesn't seem as noisy now as it did the first time I turned it on. I wonder if, would there be an element of, obviously this has got like 30-year-old, 40-year-old capacitors and stuff in it. Are they all just a bit shit? So see if it's been on for a while, do they sort of heat up and then, do you know what I mean? Like if you can imagine like a pipe or something like that, where it's if you put water through it, eventually it washes out the dirt and kind of stuff like that and ends up flowing freely. I'm hoping that's happening. To be honest, I really can't be bothered. I don't really want to cost any money trying to fix it. It's like it might just be a, if I did ask Ollie at Frettronics, it'd be like, oh, it's a transformer or blah blah blah, but it's just maybe just a general earth hum, some slightly worn out components. So I'd rather just, I can deal with it. It's annoying, but it is, as you say, when you're in the studio, the amps make that noise anyway. The big Marshall 400 watt head, the fan is the same volume as that. That's why I don't really use that in the house. Also, the fact you'd just be constantly terrified because the volume controls, it's like a big volume control. It's got like a ball bearing in it, so it's super smooth. So basically, I'd be terrified having that in the house in case at some point I accidentally knock that volume control up to half, and then it would just basically blow the windows out, and it'd be like an atomic bomb going off. So just avoid as much as possible. Nice to have a proper bass back. I think it feels an awful lot more powerful than the previous amp. Like, not regardless of volume, it's got an awful lot more to it. Right, that's going to be a really long video if turns out the audio's all knackered. Rock on, catch you later.